on the scene. In fact, over 100 firefighters from Phoenix Fire are battling this fire right now. Ladder trucks also there as well. This is a live shot from Sky Fox, and some of the smoke has dissipated a little bit. That's the white smoke that you're seeing right now. The thick black smoke is when it's really bad, rising from the air. So they're starting to get a handle of it at this point.
Yeah, this went out as a 3-alarm, which would be 12 engines, 6 ladders. I've only seen 3 or 4 ladders, but they can deploy 1,500 gallons of water. That's what you're looking at the top of your screen, 1,500 gallons a minute. It'd fill your backyard pool in 10 minutes. So they are putting a lot of water on this fire, thus the white smoke. They're getting a handle on it, but obviously in that kind of environment, you've got tires that can go up and burn and start another vehicle on fire, and they've been battling several of those. We've even seen a few RVs that are parked in there that are probably junked, but they're reclaiming parts, and those went up as well. There is a wide shot of the thick smoke plume, and you could see it for miles.
Yeah, and so this smoke is moving towards the east. So if you are in the path of this smoke, it's moving east towards downtown. We want to go out live now to our Marissa Sarbach. She is on the ground. She just arrived. Marissa, what can you tell us from your vantage point?
Ellen, John, we tried to make our way just from that side of the fire that you were talking about, where the smoke was blowing, and try and get around it, but it was really difficult to get here. All of the main roads, Buckeye, 35th there, all around this fire, 27th, all shut down right now. Take a look at what you can see from our vantage point. I think it's a little bit easier to see from Sky Fox, but we do have, obviously, this camera here on the ground. You can see that command center vehicle for the fire department just underneath. When we were coming up on Buckeye Road, you could see some of the ladders and some of the firefighters just shooting out water, trying to get this under control. About 30 minutes ago, we saw a little bit more of that white smoke, so it seemed like they were kind of getting it under control, but then a little bit after that, we actually noticed that that black smoke was starting up again. So it seemed like the firefighters might have had it kind of under control, and then it seemed to reignite almost and send more of this smoke up into the air. We had actually tried to get through on one of the earlier streets over on 32nd and had spoke with a woman who said she was riding her bicycle when she just all of a sudden heard a loud boom and she saw metal flying through the air. We have not had a chance to connect with the fire department at this point. The PIO says that they're getting briefed, trying to find out what exactly is happening and what started this. But the woman that I spoke with, who was riding her bicycle, says she thinks it was near an old pump house, so there might be gasoline or diesel involved, which would explain why it's taking firefighters so long to put this out. So as you can see, just a really big plume of smoke here. The wind is absolutely blowing. I don't know if Alfredo, my photographer, can kind of zoom out and you can see the flags going. So you can just see how much this wind is kicking in right now. So as the crews are on scene, it's just becoming a really difficult thing for them to get done here.
You know, Marissa, there are some homes in the area on 31st Avenue that you can see if you're doing like a Google search, Google Maps search. Do you know if any of those homes are impacted? I know you spoke with a woman who was riding her bike, but what about people who live in that area? Because yes, it is an industrial area, but you can see that there is a pretty long line of homes on 31st.
Yeah, we haven't even been able to get close enough just now. I want to also pan and show you there's more fire trucks that are showing off. So there are more fire trucks that are coming into this area at this point. I think they are getting out just to come up here. But the homes that we saw, nobody had been impacted, but it looked like it was a little bit further in from where we could get. They have so many of these streets shut down at this point, and traffic has really been impacted, so it's hard to get even close enough there. Actually, I believe Kim here, our PIO for Phoenix Fire, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we are live. Could I grab you just to find out what's going on?
Yes, absolutely. What we're working on right now is a 4th alarm fire. It is multiple areas with recycling vehicles, trailers, and kind of scrapyard material. We have firefighters surrounding the area, and we have set up elevated master streams to help combat the fire.
Do we know what exactly started this at this point?
At this time, we do not know what started the blaze. We are urging anybody that's near the area to just stay away from the area, stay out of the smoke, and take safety precautions.
And at this point, how well do you think this is regulated? Are we at any point in containment here?
So we are working to contain it. It did go 4th alarm. We're doing that partly to have enough resources and do rehab and recycling on scene, which is where our crews, if they need a rest or rehydration or to refill their air bottle, they can come out. They can get that and then either go back into the fire or be replaced by another crew. So we're making sure with the hot weather that we have enough resources on scene to handle this.
We did see that something that the fire department had put out about this spreading to a few different properties at this point. I know our anchors were asking if any of the homes in the area had been impacted. We couldn't tell just because we couldn't really get in the perimeter. Have any?
It seems right now that it's only commercial that's affected right now. That's unclear to us right now. We're working to get that information to see if any residents were affected during this. We are asking that if you're affected by the smoke to remain in place, close your doors and windows, and hunker down. If we need to do evacuations, we will do that at an appropriate time.
Has this been burning for about an hour now?
It appears to be burning for about an hour, and we've just continuously built our resources, so we're having levels of layered resources so that we're best able to mitigate this fire.
We had heard from some people that we interviewed actually coming in that they said they saw metal flying and they heard a boom. Any idea what would have caused that when this fire started?
So there's vehicles there, there's trailers, there's multiple scrap machinery in this area. So that's very common with tires. They can kind of have an explosion-like effect. Some of the gasoline in the gas tanks, as well as any magnesium in the vehicles, can have an explosion sound.
How dangerous is it at this point, or are we past that point?
So anytime that we have a fire this size, it is dangerous, and that's why we're doing our best to control it and prevent it from spreading any further. The smoke is very dangerous, right? It's toxic, so we want to remind people to stay out of the smoke, take safety precautions, and then heed the road closures.
All right. Anything else people need to know at this point?
Just like I said, try to stay away from this area and give the crews working in this area the best opportunity without traffic and without people in the area to best fight this fire.
Captain Kim Quick, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, well, we just got that update for you guys. We'll obviously be live here on scene trying to update you as we get more information, but it looks like many of the crews here are on scene handling this fire. Even though it is fourth alarm right now, we are trying to keep somewhat of a containment and just keep everybody out of the area. Like you just heard from Captain Kim Quick there, it was difficult even to get to the scene because they are blocking off so many of the roads, encouraging people just to stay out of this area if possible.
Okay, Marissa, thank you. Just by the way, when they start talking about alarms, fourth alarm for Phoenix Fire means 16 engines, 8 ladders. That's a lot of crew, a lot of people on the ground in 70 pounds of gear fighting this, which is a nasty day when it's 108.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they are doing a switch out with those crews about every 15 minutes or so just to make sure that they are safe. We have some viewer video. A lot of people, again, seeing what's happening here just west of downtown. And this is the view from a neighborhood only a couple of blocks away. Several homes, we're told, are without power in the area. This really as a precaution as these flames spread. APS reports several dozen customers are without power in the immediate area. Right now, they're estimating that it will be at least a couple more hours until it's back on. And of course, it's going to take probably a couple more hours to try to get this fire under control.
Well, the thing about these junkyards or reclaim yards, usually they do, at least in the big ones, they take the gas out of the gas tank when they recycle them for safety reasons, and they reclaim literally everything off the car, including the fuel. So generally, if it's done that way, you won't have an exploding gas tank on a vehicle going up. They pull the gas out of them as they're picking parts off them. So that's at least a little bit of solace if you're worried about explosions from some of these cars.
Yeah, a little bit different from the propane fire that we had a couple of weeks ago, where those hundreds of propane tanks, those small tanks, were just popping off like little bombs going off. So at least this junkyard is, you know, just a bunch of junk right now.
Yeah, they just sell the parts off them. And you look at this, I think I did a rough count. It's probably about 100 vehicles on that lot. And this isn't a big operation.
Right.
It's kind of a small one on the scale of some of the others in the valley.
Yeah, Phoenix Fire has not confirmed exactly if this is the complete auto repair, but that's what it looks like when you're looking in the area as the business that is impacted right now.
Those motorhomes, this is video from probably about 30 minutes ago. Those motorhomes are gone, by the way. They were torched. Let's check in with Corey McCloskey in the Weather Center. Maybe you can give us some sense of the winds out there today. Obviously, it's hot.
Yeah, they are brisk, to say the least. They're pushing from the southwest off to the northeast. So if you live over in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley or anywhere here in the metro area or say the central corridor, you're certainly going to be smelling, and obviously everyone can see that smoke, but it's continuing to push its way pretty strongly, the winds that is, to the northeast. So again, coming right across that fire and moving everything right over the center portion of the metro area. So, as you've been talking about, they're getting a lot of water onto that fire. Hopefully it won't be too much longer, but don't be surprised if you're smelling that acrid smoke, and it's going to continue to work its way off toward Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, and probably parts of northern parts of Mesa as well. But we'll keep it here, or we'll keep on top of any wind shifts. But so far, these winds are likely to continue for a good while yet.
By the way, no injuries in this that we know of. We think that everybody who was part of that yard is safe. That's the bottom line. That's great news. And as you pointed out, there aren't a lot of neighborhoods. There's one right there on 31st.
31st Avenue.